has a nap. Very important. In the middle of the day, he have this nap, this powerful nap, every single day. He has a qaylula in general, and this qaylula reset up everything the day. I remember my father, rahimahullah, every day, summer, winter, after dhuhr, he has this 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours qaylula is the. And this is literally like you have a button, reset your body. Like you start a new day, physically, when we have doctors with us, physically the qaylula, if somebody able to. And us, remember, when we, in the summer, when we are young, we wake up for Fajr at 3:30 a.m. Now we go, open the masjid and everything, but we sleep after Dhuhr. And we wake up at 3 a.m. fresh. Good sleep after Isha. Isha is late, after 10. So the idea there is wisdom. So when we take the Sunnah, we have to take all of it and understand it. You cannot take the part of the Sunnah and leave the others. You cannot do this because the result is going to be messed up. And somebody say, how come somebody Ramadan work 8 hours, wake up and pray tahajjud and go to work and come back and this is not the style that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to live. So when we want to follow the Sunnah, we have to put it in the context. As I said in the khutbah, some people Friday, some people they say I'm going to follow the Sunnah, I'm going to marry more than one wife. It's really the messed up of the mind of the people. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he stayed with Khadija almost 90% of his life until she passed away. So, if you want to follow the Sunnah, follow the Sunnah. And for the people who want to get married, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I know this topic things, but this is the reality. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married the widows, all the women that he married, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, except Aisha, that she's young, and the other one, all of them he married before, orphan, widows, and women with orphans. This is the Sunnah. You don't say, I'm going to follow the Sunnah, and you do exactly this will mess up the purpose of the religion. And will become people following the shahawat, following the desires. They're not following the Sunnah, but they lie. Because it's not the Sunnah of the Prophet. But Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for example, because you feasting. And this is applied in everything. For example, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you go. So part of it is the sleep of the Prophet. He didn't sleep much in the night, but he replaced the sleep, the missing things in the day by what? He said, قِيلُوا فَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَا تَقِيلُ. Have a nap during the day, if you have time, of course. So shayateen, they don't have this nap. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the purpose of the night is to have a rest. Umar al-Khattab used to run after Isha to go to sleep early so he can wake up and make the hajj. So we have to understand there is a sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is a practice, and there is ayat that Allah mentioned. So the purpose of the layl is sukoon. And of course, I said there is a lot of things happening when we are sleeping, when we are resting, and this is everything he said. Subhanallah, we go to sleep, we thought, but the brain is fixing things, and there is a lot of things that if you know it, say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ, the purpose of the night for sukoon. This is why the people don't work for decades and decades in the night shift, and can affect us, but somebody has to do the job sometimes. قال وَالنَّهَارَ مُبْصِرًا. The purpose of the day to see al-ibsar, here to see things clear. And always, of course, we know that the natural light has more benefit than the artificial light. Yesterday, brother gave me a date, gift, and so they put in the box this date being grow with the natural light. I say even date now, they put them in artificial light. I saw China, they build 10 acres vertical farming, a big, huge building. They say they produce vegetables and fruits from vegetables mainly from this amazing building. And more than many acres, land, but just in one building, going vertical. And I said, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the nahara mubsiran, the day, to enjoy the day, and to enjoy, of course, one of the best things. Don't stay inside your home, especially for sometimes when the people get a little bit older, we have a tendency to stay in and this is most dangerous things that you can do to yourself. It's to stuck in your home. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he used to go outside of the masjid of his room every single day. After around 9, he will go with some of the closest Sahaba to one of the small farms outside of Medina. They sit, there is a well, put their feet in the water, and they talk. And this is the well. We live in stress. Sometimes that we very dangerous. So going outside, number one, the sun is by itself is the doctor, is cure. My father used to say, rahimahullah, I mentioned him today twice. He has a bicycle. After he's 50 years old, he started having a bicycle, go to work with bicycle coming until he's 86 years old. So when the people ask him, he say, this is my doctor, the bicycle. That he uses his bicycle until he's 82 years old, rahimahullah. Going outside and see, as Allah said, look around and exposed to the light. And this is one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And starting now, the people who start stuck in their homes, this is the decline, especially for our elderly. Two things very important. If you have an elder person in the home, don't do things for them. In meaning, let them active. If they're going to drink, of course, you have to be safe to don't fail or anything. But keeping them active, it's one of the greatest things to do to them. But when they start sitting and they cannot go outside, they cannot do this is the beginning of decline. So this is why sometimes, of course, in the safe things, keep them active. And one of the things that we don't go outside, we don't walk, we don't even to do things as Allah during the day. And this is what another things that keep the Sahaba and keep the people healthy and different than us. They are very active. They do a lot of effort and they do a lot of things during the day. And Allah reminds us that one of the signs of Allah is the daytime. النهار مبصرا إن في ذلك لآيات, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لقوم يسمعون. Indeed, in the cycle of the night and the day, there is signs for people who can listen, who can hear, who can reflect, who can think. And this is one of the reminder of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to reflect about the day and the night and what we understand. قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا, and this is this one. Then one of the big sins, that they compare Allah to His creation. This is, we call it shirk. Allah said, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. They didn't put Allah in His level. The mushrikeen and the kuffar, they didn't see the greatness of Allah. And this is what we call it as a Muslim tasbih. What's tasbih means? It's to put Allah in His maqam, His greatness, to feel the greatness of Allah. When you worship an idol, and this is a lot of shirk, subhanAllah, in many places, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compare him to stone or to idol or to anything of His creation, This is the biggest dhulm and justice. Inna shirka la dhulmun adhim. There is nothing more dhulm than the shirk. There is nothing more dhulm that you compare the creator to his creation. And one of the things, the big dhulm, is to say that Allah has a son. That Allah has, the mushrikeen of Quraysh said, Allah has daughters. The malaika are the daughters of Allah. The Christian, they said Allah has a son and his son is Isa alayhi salam. Allah said there is no more dhulm than the shirk, than compare Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his creation. قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا. Walad means son. Subhanahu wal ghani. Allah is ghani. And this is one of the things that we have to understand. The names of Allah that we have to understand it in its great understanding. Ghani in Arabic, self-sufficient. The opposite of faqir. Faqir means need in Arabic. Iftaqartu means I need something. Aftaqiru ilah. For example, you are cooking, I say, Aftaqiru ila sakin. I don't have a knife, for example. So we call myself as this situation ala faqir. But in general, faqir is poor. But in Arabic language, means somebody in need. Allah is not in need of anything, including to have children, or Allah is not in need to anything that we are in. So this is why when we say that Allah has a son, Allah has a daughter, Allah has a wife, sahiba wala walad, no wife, no children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is after reflection in the heaven and the earth. You cannot say Allah has a son. You cannot. It doesn't go together. قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه هو الغني. So Allah doesn't need us. And Allah doesn't need even our ibadah. This is why when we do something good, we're not doing favor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's ourselves. Allah doesn't need. And this is the concept of ghani. Always when we put this concept, قال له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. Allah owns everything in the heaven and the earth. إن عندكم من سلطان بهذا. Do you have sultan? Sultan means the king and everything, but sultan means proof in Arabic also. So do you have a sultan? If somebody claims something, you tell him, do you have a sultan for this? Do you have proof? Do you have authority to declare that Allah has a son? Who are you? تقول على الله الكذب. Who are you to say wrong things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So here the sultan means the authority that allows him. And Allah conclude with this, we cannot talk about Allah except with authority. And the authority, it's come from his book or his prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. يجادلون في الله, talk about mushrikeen. They dispute about Allah and they talk about Allah بغير علم ولا هدى ولا كتاب منير. People, they arguing about Allah without knowledge, without guidance, prophet to guide them, and without kitab munir. They don't have a book. Is this in the Quran? This is why in Islam, what's going to keep this religion protected? We have to be careful from the bid'ah in every aspect. And this is one of the things that is covering this trouble. What's keep the Muslims in Philippines and Muslims in America following the book of Allah? That you cannot speak in this deen without sultan, and without ilm, and without kitab al-munir, and without hidayah. If somebody come to you and start talking about things in the religion, and you don't have proof, don't accept them. Don't accept whoever the people are. And this is how we're going to protect our religion from what? From going in the wrong path. So this is why Quran is very clear. Everybody tell you anything, you have to ask, what's your dalil? But you have to know that this is not an easy thing. Some people say that Quran and Sunnah. But Quran and Sunnah, you have to understand Arabic, understand the Quran, understand the Sunnah. But in general, if we want to keep our religion safe and protect our deen, we have to have dalil always. Is this Sahaba did this? Is the Sahaba? That's why we have to be very careful. And as people speak, we have bigger responsibility. I can do something. It's my own mistake, misled myself. But if I'm in a position to talk or khatib or doing something, I have a very big responsibility. I will give you to mislead people. Even things, there is things we do, we don't some istikharas in some forms, we get it through tajriba al-mujarrabat. We don't make khutbah about it. Because it's some things in the religion, if I don't have a strong dalil, I know it's correct, but it's correct because I'm comfortable to myself. But I cannot teach it to the people in general because it can confuse people. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to Mushrikeen conclude, أَتَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. How can we speak about Allah without ilm? And this is the one of the reason of the fall of the ummah, that everybody becomes scholar of Islam. For us growing up, the title Mufti in the whole countries, and this is tradition. Mufti is somebody who literally, all his life, most of the Muftis, they are in their 70s, 80s. In the country you find one big Mufti, and in the city you find one Mufti. Now you go study 5 years somewhere, and you come and they give you the title Mufti. This is a very scary, literally. You give somebody Imam, and with nothing, you give them title Imam. Title Imam. This is really because of the ilm. If we don't respect these titles, we're going to sell our religion cheap. And we're going to mislead the people. Be Imam or be Mufti, it's not a joke. You have special in a diverse community. We have here more have to be required to call somebody Mufti more than people in Malaysia or Indonesia or Egypt. Why? Because number one, you have a different background of the people. If you didn't study the comparative fiqh, don't call yourself Mufti. Literally. Don't call yourself if you don't know the difference, if you don't know Arabic language. I'm talking about Mufti. Imam, somebody, in the prayer, but giving khutbah is different. But I'm talking about somebody who gives fatwas. If you don't understand, in my humble opinion, Arabic language very well, you cannot give fatwas. You cannot. If you don't know the comparative fiqh, at least two schools, at least the Shafi'i, the Hanafi, the majority of don't give fatwas and don't call yourself Mufti or say I'm Mufti for my family. I can give fatwa to my kids and my brothers maybe, but call yourself Mufti. Very, very dangerous. So we have to be careful about this, because Quran is very clear. We don't talk about Allah without ilm. We don't talk. And some people are very, very comfortable. This is sometimes is desire and hawa, because you love to people listen to you. Some people, if this is the motivation that you love and you have a desire that the people listen to you or to call you this or that, go check the faith. So let's make dua, inshallah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept us with His mercy and rahmah, and accept our tawbah and dua, inshallah. Allahumma ahdina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt. اللهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا منه سالما معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل معنا ولا بينا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما. اللهم برحمتك عمنا، اللهم اكفنا شر ما أهمنا. اللهم ما أصبح بنا من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر. اللهم لك الحمد على ما أعطيت، اللهم لك الحمد على ما أنعمت، اللهم لك الحمد على ما تفضلت. اللهم أنت ربنا لا إله إلا أنت خلقتنا ونحن عبيدك ونحن على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعنا، نعوذ بك من شر ما صنعنا، نبوء لك بنعمتك علينا ونبوء بذنوبنا فاغفر لنا فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم نسألك خير هذا اليوم وخير ما بعده، ونعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم وشر ما بعده. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم.